Hello and welcome to the Alex Nitzberg Show. I'm Alex Nitzberg, and today I'm going to talk about a few topics, but mainly the two topics I'll be covering are, one, what is a woman? You know, that's the question that Matt Walsh has helped make famous with his documentary and seems to stump a lot of proponents of radical leftist gender ideology. So I'm going to show you just some of the craziness that's going on with this debate. People literally just putting out there that the definition of a woman is anyone who says they're a woman, which is circular reasoning, using the word to define the word, which doesn't define a word. Can you imagine if someone said, what's an airplane? You said an airplane is an airplane. Well, that doesn't really explain anything. Another topic I'm going to be covering today is the U.S. Department of Energy spending buku bucks to give out loans to companies. Something that, well, I'll show you there are some aspects on the press release I'm going to show you that you could see, okay, maybe they're claiming they're going to try and onshore some stuff from China, and maybe that sounds good. The question is, why would you want the government interfering in the free market like this, giving out these huge, massive loans to companies? So I'm going to show you that. So thank you for joining me for this episode. I've been doing live episodes every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so if you've been enjoying them, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, I'll be back next week for another Saturday episode. So every Saturday, 3:30. So let me switch my camera over here. And there's my thumbs up, please reminder. So if you've been enjoying these videos, please give it a thumbs up. And every Saturday at 3:30 is the time for the live episodes. I also put out episodes sometimes during the week as well. For instance, earlier this week, I put out an episode about Mike Pence announcing he's running for president. So let's get into this. Here we have Nina Turner, who formerly served. She was a former Ohio State Senator. And you can see here someone wrote to her and said, define woman. And her response is, if someone says they're a woman, not a tough concept. Well, that is not a definition. Okay, like I said, if you do that with anything, if someone says, define a house, and you say a house is anything that people think is a house, what does that mean? Like, so I mean, it doesn't make sense, and it's also not accurate. Now, if you look up the actual definition of the word woman, you can see here on the Merriam-Webster website, it says an adult female person. Okay, well, what's a female? So I looked that up. Female, of or relating to or being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear young or produce eggs. Okay, so that makes sense. That's a good definition. I mean, obviously, if you really start trying to nail down a definition, like you could say somebody with with the 2X chromosomes or all that kind of stuff. And of course, sometimes women are not able to bear children. And so you can, have all that stuff. But people know what a woman is. I mean, this whole argument is completely preposterous. So here we have this guy, Dr. Ahmed Malik. He put out this tweet and said, is this person a woman? With a picture of Dylan Mulvaney, who you've probably heard of before. There's this whole fiasco with Bud Light. Bud Light hired Dylan Mulvaney to basically advertise their beer, and there's been this big backlash against that. But Dylan Mulvaney is a man pretending to be a woman, transgender woman. And so this guy, he put out this tweet. Now, the reason I'm on the web.archive.org website is because he deleted his tweet later. But a bunch of people were responding to the tweet. And so I wanted to show you the original tweet, because when I show you the responses to it, the original tweet was deleted. I don't know why he deleted it, but this was his original tweet. He said, is this person a woman? And here we have this person who says she's a gynecologist saying that the answer is yes, and that the guy that posted that is a bigot, and that is not a good look for a physician. Okay, and then we have another person who's saying that she's an OBGYN and saying that the answer is yes, Dylan Mulvaney is a woman. And then she says, move on and stop spreading hate. And you can see that the tweet was deleted, but that was the original tweet with that picture of Dylan Mulvaney. So there we have these medical professionals, claiming that Dylan Mulvaney is a woman. That's absurd. Of course he's not a woman. He's a man, and he's pretending to be a woman. That's what transgender women are. They're men pretending to be women. So that is just, some of the absurdity that's going on here with this debate. And I just wanted to show you guys this as well. How crazy this issue is. It should be common sense. This shouldn't even be a societal debate. But so I have this video clip from a video I did months and months ago, where it's just a short clip, and all I really say in the clip is, men are not women. It doesn't matter how fervently the proponents of radical leftist gender ideology push their ideology throughout society, it's still untrue. Or promote their dogmas throughout society is what I actually said. So anyway, I say that in this video, and then somebody leaves me a comment on YouTube that says you should lay down in front of a city bus. Basically, they're saying I should kill myself. So, I mean, why is this a thing? Like, so I say something that's completely, it's common sense, but it's highly debated in society, obviously, and someone tells me to kill myself. So we've got that. And then I showed you this clip, if you've been watching this show for, a while now, and in a previous show, maybe a month ago or so, I don't remember exactly, well, actually, I can see here, I posted this on May 18th, so yeah, it was probably 3 weeks or whatever ago. There's this clip of a Republican state lawmaker in Texas, and he's asking asking a Democratic state lawmaker in Texas, what is a woman? And it's basically the same definition I showed you Nina Turner giving earlier. The guy basically says that a woman is anyone who tells me they're a woman. All right, I'm just going to show that again. If you already saw it, you can skip through it, and if you haven't seen it, then here it is.
But you allow for what you say is a trans woman to compete against the women, correct?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I don't now because we banned it.
Okay. What is a woman?
I'm sorry, what is your question?
What is a woman?
What part of this bill are you referring to with this question?
I'm asking you to answer the definitive nature of your statement. You've asserted from the front mic multiple times.
When a woman tells me they're a woman, I know they're a woman because I trust them to give me that answer.
So can you define a woman?
I just did. When they tell me they're a woman, then they're a woman. It's not for me.
Can you
to go
define
around.
that?
I just did. That's my answer to you.
Mr. Busey, can you define it without using the word? Because for you to say a woman is not a definition. I'm asking you to define the term without using the word.
I
because
trust
if we're in
you
positions
to tell
of
me what gender you are, and I trust everybody on this floor to tell me what gender they are, or to not tell me because it's none of my business.
So there you go. We've got another leftist suggesting that a woman is someone who basically tells you that they're a woman. So, hey, if a guy walks up and says he's a woman, he's a woman. I mean, this is totally absurd, but this is the absurdity of radical leftist gender ideology. So that's a bit about that. All right, and then last week I was talking about how just the government and big businesses are really pushing the LGBT agenda. During so-called Pride Month in June, everybody's putting out all these rainbow logos and rainbow this, rainbow that. So here we have a Cracker Barrel. You would think a nice sort of country-style family restaurant that Southern wouldn't be into this. Yep, they are on Facebook. I was gonna say tweeted. It's not it's on Facebook. It's not a tweet, but they Facebook posted this. We are excited to celebrate Pride Month with our employees and guests. Everyone is always welcome at our table and or our rocker. Happy Pride. And it looks like some of the rockers have like rainbow colored, designs or whatever. So yeah, and by the way, I'm a big fan of Cracker Barrel. I love eating there. Ever since I was a kid, it's the kind of place when I was younger we used to only get to go, when you're traveling usually. But now I actually live near one, and I love to go there. However, the last time I was there, while I was eating, there was some sort of bug or cockroach-like thing crawling across my table near my plate, which that didn't thrill me, and I haven't been back since that. Once when I was younger, I had a negative experience where I was served basically raw fried chicken. But other than that, I love Cracker Barrel, and it's a great, great restaurant. But it's the kind of place that you would think would not succumb to this, this Pride Month cultural zeitgeist of promoting the LGBT agenda. But there they are doing it. And this kind of also, I would say, people are talking about boycotting Bud Light because of the Don't Move Anything, boycotting Target and all this stuff. And I made a video in the past saying that you can't boycott everything, right? There are so many businesses that are backing the LGBT movement that if you tried to boycott all of them, you would probably be spending a lot of time trying to figure out who to boycott, and you would find that you need to boycott almost everything. So I think that's not a really feasible solution. I think Matt Walsh might have suggested perhaps try and boycott one thing at a time, and I guess you could argue that maybe that's something, if they're interested in boycotts, could do. Anyway, like Bud Light seems to be suffering. But I don't drink beer, so I was already boycotting them, and I'm still boycotting them, and I will continue to boycott them forever because I don't drink. But anyway, so Cracker Barrel. Also, the CIA and the Air Force. Here's the thing from the Air Force. saying June is Pride Month. The Department of the Air Force proudly recognizes and celebrates generations of LGBTQI plus service members and their contributions to our Air Force and Space Force. And they got a rainbow back here. And then the CIA has this thing that's like CIA's 2023 theme for Pride Month. And so anyway, just thought I'd show you this. I showed you that whole list. I have this thread on Twitter just of all kinds of business and government entities like the MLB, all this stuff. So I just added some new stuff to the list this week. All right, so new topic. I was telling you the Department of Energy lending out massive sums of money to companies, basically to promote a sort of green agenda and that kind of thing. So here, I wrote about this press release yesterday. The Department of Energy's Loan Program Office announced a conditional commitment for an $850 million loan to help finance basically what is a battery cell manufacturing facility in Arizona. That is a large number, $850 million, but actually, I'll show you, that's not even the half of it. And you can see here that it says the latest project under LPO's ATVM program is essential to the Biden-Harris administration's strategy to onshore EV supply chains to ensure that half of all new vehicles sold domestically in 2030 are zero-emissions vehicles. So, yeah, as a pro-capitalist person, as a conservative, I have a problem with the government intervening in free markets like this. First of all, they're kind of... you could say picking winners and losers. Why is the government giving out a loan like this, right? You want the private sector to give out loans to companies because they want to invest in what that company's doing, because there's demand for it. You don't want the government giving out massive loans to companies to finance projects, throw off the free market system like that. Also, it's just like they're pushing this agenda. Battery-powered cars are great. I think Teslas are really cool. I would like to own one someday. But the free market, should be the thing that decides, not necessarily, the government intervening. And actually, while I'm saying that, I don't know the exact history of Tesla, but I'm pretty sure that they have benefited from government intervention, probably. And it's not, we don't want the government jumping into stuff like this. So now when you go down here, there is some stuff in this press release that makes this sound kind of like a good idea, in the sense that they talk about reducing reliance on foreign supply chains in China. It says that this plant will produce 2 unique battery cell chemistries, including both nickel and manganese cobalt chemistry and lithium iron phosphate, which does not utilize cobalt and may help reduce reliance on foreign supply chains that use that critical material. Where is it? There's something about China in here too. Onshoring battery manufacturing is critical to reducing America's reliance on other nations, such as China, which currently dominates the industry and supplies many American companies with materials to resell foreign-made batteries. So, it sounds like onshoring things sounds like a great idea. But, having the government lending out massive sums of money to companies does not sound like, it sounds like a terrible idea. So there's that. But I also wanted to show you, I found this press release here, and this is from March, and it says that the Loan Programs Office, with the Department of Energy, expects to make approximately $6 billion in loan guarantee commitments in fiscal year 2023 and $20 billion in fiscal year 2024 to new and innovative clean energy deployment and supply chain projects. And it says under the Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Loan Program, LPO expects to close approximately $15 billion loans in fiscal year 2023 and $16 billion in fiscal year 2024 across various advanced technology vehicle and component projects. And just here's another example. This is in December of 2022. There's this press release that says the Department of Energy, through its LPO office, announced the closing of a $2.5 billion loan to what is that? Ultium Cells LLC to help finance construction of a new lithium-ion battery cell manufacturing facilities in several states here. So the government is completely tampering with the free market here. And also, besides tampering with the free market, the government taxes people. Of course, they also just spend money that they don't have. But I think most Americans would probably rather, not be involved in this, having their government money involved in this kind of stuff, in the taxes. People like to keep their own money. Anyway, so this is not great, with the government doing all of this, getting its fingers in all this stuff here. Another topic I want to cover a little bit today. Tucker Carlson. He was a kind of a hot topic in conservative media there for a while when he split ways with Fox News, whatever was going on there. He has returned on Twitter. He put out 2 videos this week of Tucker on Twitter, this new show that he launched on Twitter. You can see here, He's getting, let me hit the refresh button here. He's getting massive traction. Like the first episode he posted on, I believe it was Tuesday. Look at that. It's got, the tweet has 113 million views. Second episode on Thursday came out, has 51.5 million views on the tweet so far. Now, it's interesting because he put out the first video, and after he put out the first video, there was an article in Axios that said that they were reporting that Fox News was claiming that Tucker Carlson had breached his contract. But Tucker Carlson put out a second video after that. So apparently he was undeterred, and he's going forward with this. But here you can see that they're saying that Tucker Carlson's lawyers were notified that that he had violated his contract. So that's what Fox News is claiming anyway. And so Tucker Carlson's going ahead and doing the show. We'll see what happens. I believe most, or many, I would say many Fox News viewers are annoyed or angry with Fox News for the way that this went down. You know, with Tucker apparently, I'm not really clear on exactly what happened, but it seems kind of like he was ousted somehow. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the official press release was that they agreed to part ways. But it also, you know, if you watch the last episode of his show, he was saying on Friday at the end of his last episode that we'll be back on Monday. Then suddenly there's this press release on Monday that he's gone. But whatever happened there, it didn't seem good, and people are upset that he's gone. And so I, for one, am one of those people. I'm not, you know, Fox is not conservative. People think of it as conservative, but the company is not really conservative. And Tucker was the best show they had probably, and now he's gone. And anyway, so things are probably not going to go well for Fox, you know, with that. I mean, it's probably going to hurt them, and I hope it does. I hope it hurts them long term, you know, business wise, that they cut ties with Tucker Carlson like that. And Tucker Carlson will probably do just fine on his own. Maybe he'll even make more money than he did before. Who knows? But like I showed you there, he's doing well on Twitter. Also, another topic here, Charlie Crist. In case you don't remember who this guy is, he was the Democrat that ran against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in the 2022 Sunshine State gubernatorial election contest. Now, he actually was previously a governor of Florida years ago. And get this, his resume is he was elected governor of Florida as a Republican. While he was governor, he ran for Senate, U.S. Senate, as an independent. And then I believe after he was not governor anymore, he lost that Senate race, by the way, to Marco Rubio, I believe. But after he was no longer governor of Florida, he became a Democrat. And then he was, you know, eventually was serving as a U.S. Congress member, a House member, as a Democrat. And then he ran for governor as a Democrat against DeSantis last year, and he got trounced by DeSantis. But this guy apparently has now found a job. The Biden administration has, President Biden has tapped him to serve as, you know, probably no one's ever heard of this, but it says nominee for representative of the United States of America on the Council of the International Civil Aviation Organization with the rank of ambassador, whatever that is. It's basically the that council is it seems to be some sort of United Nations entity of some sort. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that Charlie Crist has been tapped by President Biden for this role, whatever this is. So yeah, and then I mentioned. I made a video earlier this week when, you know, about Pence announcing that he's running for president, and I noted in that video also that that former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie also announced that he's running for president. And at the time I made the video, I said that North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum was reportedly going to announce, and then later that day he did announce. So we're up to basically 10 candidates, 11 if you count. I forget exactly what his name is, like Corey something. There's this other guy that is, you know, probably not super well known. But basically 10 or 11 candidates running for the Republican nomination for president now. And, you know, Vice President Mike Pence joining the race, Chris Christie joining the race, Doug Burgum joining the race. These are guys that I would say, and I think almost any person who's a political analyst would say has absolutely no shot. And heck, you don't have to be working in politics for a living to make this analysis. I'm pretty sure that anybody watching this show who has, you know, any remote interest in politics whatsoever would probably know that these people have no chance of winning the Republican nomination. I mean, right now and for months, the only people that are even like registering decent numbers in the polls have seemed to be Trump and DeSantis. And actually, I don't really necessarily think like when I get on Real Clear Politics, I don't really see a lot of. I don't think there was any. In fact, let me just go over there. I don't think there's any June polls. Republican primary. I don't think there was like a lot of polls recently here. Yeah, like May, whatever. So I mean, you can get down to state-by-state polls too. But when you look at this sort of thing here, I mean, look at this. Trump is trouncing everybody. DeSantis is in second place, trouncing everybody else. So we need some more recent polls. Maybe DeSantis will get a bump from announcing, maybe not. But yeah, I mean, they seem to be the only people really with any traction. And it seems like Trump's on track to win. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I don't think that where was I? I don't think Pence has a shot. Also, going to talk about this. Apple has released, or they haven't released, they announced that they're going to release eventually, I believe they said next year, this thing called Vision Pro. They're calling it a spatial computer. You basically put on this headset, and it does, look, you can see here, like it creates all this interesting stuff where you've got like screens that you're seeing, and they look like they're in your environment, but they're, it's being created by this headset. I don't believe the headset's not really, you can't really see through the headset. I believe they're cameras. They're showing you what's on the world outside, and then they're adding this stuff in. So it's this super neat sort of, they call it a spatial computer, but basically almost like a virtual reality sort of deal, where you wear this headset, and it's not just that. I mean, they can do other stuff too. You can watch like a movie on this sort of screen floating in your room and all this kind of cool stuff. Now, I put a kind of a joke here. I said Vision Pro. It's more like Vision Pro with a money symbol there, because this thing is going to cost $3,499 starting at $34.99 when it comes out. And I believe it's scheduled to come out just sometime early next year or something like that. So I think it looks super cool. I'd love to try it out. I'd love to have one, but for $3,500, I don't think a lot of people are going to be jumping at the chance to buy that when it first comes out. If you buy one and you'd like to let me try it out, let me know, and maybe I can come over to your house and try it out. But so yeah. Also, this is kind of funny, but I watched an old movie this week, and what was the title of it? It was called, I believe it was called The Senator Was Indiscreet, or something to that effect, starring William Powell. And there's this little thing in there that I thought was funny. I thought I'd put it out there, where this guy, who's a politician, and he's standing there, and there's a banner that says, Ashton is against inflation, against deflation, for inflation. I thought that was kind of funny. So maybe a politician can run on that in 2024 and win the Republican or the Democrat nomination. So, also, a bit of news about the show. Just wanted to announce that later this month, in a little less than 2 weeks, I'm going to be having retired Colonel Alan West, on this show. And I'm excited about that. He's going to be a guest. I'm going to have him on for an interview. If you don't know that much about him, he previously served as a lawmaker, a congressman from the state of Florida. I believe he lives in Texas now. He actually after that, later after he was a congressman, he also served as the chairman of the Texas Republican Party, I believe, and also he ran for governor recently. Unfortunately, he did not end up, winning the nomination, but he ran for governor. So, really great conservative, and I'm gonna be excited to have him on. And if you guys know who he is, you'll be excited that I'm having him on too. And if you don't know who he is, then you'll be excited to learn who he is. So, he's a good conservative guy. All right, so that's it for today's episode. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the chat. I saw I already had some there, so I'll go over those in a second. But let me just mention also, if you're not already following me on Twitter, please do that, because I believe that Twitter is right now one of the best, or probably the best platform for free speech, maybe other than Rumble. So I want to build that up. I think that it's going to be long-term a way better opportunity for me than YouTube, especially as I keep hammering the transgender movement and talking about how absurd it is, because that's the kind of stuff that the left-wing social media companies do not like. So, when you tell the truth about people that are claiming to be women when they're actually men, and you say, no, that's a man, social media companies don't like that. So anyway, please do me a favor and follow me there if you're on there. If you're not, then don't bother. Also, you can subscribe to this channel and follow it if you're on here. Which obviously, if you're watching this, you might not have an account, but you're watching it. But if you have an account on here, please go ahead and subscribe and give it a thumbs up and stuff. So let me check the chat. All right, so the chat says, I got a comment from, I'm not really sure how to pronounce this. Starts with a Z, but basically last name is like Meglicki, who said, a woman is a person who carries XX chromosomes in her genetic code. That is exactly correct. I agree. Also, we have Janine Waken, who left a comment and said, what is a man? Why put people on the offensive/defensive? Same problem. Well, I would say that, once again, we got the same group of definitions you can go with. You could say a man is someone with XY chromosomes. A man is someone, if you want to, get into genitalia, you can mention the type of genitalia that men have. You could say, someone who, produces sperm. And once again, obviously, like just like women, there are men who, for whatever reason, maybe they can't, maybe they had to, they had testicular cancer and they had to get castrated or whatever. But obviously, once again, people know what a man is. Like, it's obvious. This should not be a societal debate. You're saying, why put people on the defensive? My question would be, why are they denying reality and trying to force everyone else to deny reality and then calling them bigots when they refuse to deny reality with them? And it's, it's a matter of truth and reality versus lies. And and also if you want to, get into the fact that it also, it's kind of a sin issue in the sense that it's wrapped up in this whole LGBT movement, and also the idea that God, created men and women, and he doesn't, I don't believe that God wants men to pretend that they're women. So I don't think that would be, something that people should be doing. Now, obviously, and I'm getting into Christianity and stuff, and the people that are into this movement are, they're not Christians. They're probably not even professing to be Christians for the most part. I mean, there are some people in this movement who profess to be Christians. But anyway, so as a Christian myself, and as someone who believes in truth and reality, I would say that I'm going to reject a man's claim that he's a woman because it's not true, and I won't accept that. So there's that. This is Jim Wade, he said, why has this suddenly become a complicated issue? Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Why is this a societal debate? This is ridiculous. This is not a complicated issue. In fact, in Matt Walsh's movie, he was talking to some people in Africa, and they were basically laughing at him when he was asking these absurd questions to them, about women and men, and they thought it was ridiculous, because it is ridiculous. But the reason I would say it's become a big issue is because people on the left and proponents of this ideology are pushing it, and then people like Matt Walsh, myself, pretty much most people that are conservative are pushing back against it and saying, this is ridiculous, this is a lie, this is not true. And then, people like us, as I showed you, get told to lay down in front of a city bus, or, people are told they're bigots or whatever. And it's just, so it's become a debate because people are saying men are women and women are men, and you can identify as anything you want, and you can be fluid, and you can be a man one day and a woman the next day and all that. So the reason it's a debate is because the left made it a debate. I'm just standing there saying what's always been true, and I'm arguing with them because of what they're saying. But why am I talking about this? Because they've made it a thing. I mean, it wasn't a thing. They made it a thing, and now I'm talking about it. So that's that. Anyway, thank you all for watching this episode of the show. Like I said, live episodes every Saturday at 3:30, so you can come back next week for another episode. And sometimes there's episodes in the middle of the week, too. So please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next week for another episode. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.